Hello, good evening, good night. I'm glad to see Instagram is working tonight because it wasn't working last night when I tried to do my other show. Anyways, we are here. It is Thursday night. It is another Thursday turn up, and
Yes.
we're going to turn up indeed, despite my very calm demeanor tonight. I'm actually exhausted, but we're going to turn up because the clip I'm going to show you guys in the show, I think, has to be one of the worst um, I've come across. When Twin sent it to me, I was in absolute shock. And even though I edited it down, it is pretty bad. And so the title of tonight's show, For Better or Worse, Unless He's Broke, is going to come from that clip that I'm going to show you guys in a few minutes, so stick around. But before we go into that, how's your week been, Twin?
It's the mellow voice for me right now. It's the collective. It's like we're doing Quiet Storm on F Your Feelings tonight. Come to tonight, you know what I'm saying? All right, I got my voice on now. How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Twins. Hope you have your drink. Hope you had a good week. It is turned up Thursday night with Toshiba. And I'm doing well, you know what I'm saying? His weather's been nice, been working, life is good, kids good, no complaints, just grinding. How are you? I mean, I've seen the picture. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have not been following behind the scenes, he's been given all the tea behind the scenes of the event that she's a part of and planning. And when I say planning, she's doing the damn thing. And you got to say
Mhm.
yes to the dresses because the dress game been on point every day. Like she couldn't wait for this event show because she has a dress for every
Listen,
single day. But
listen,
I'll let her
Linda.
talk. How are you doing?
I am tired and I do need my YouTube family to get some behind the scenes. I'm going to put together a compilation video tonight slash tomorrow and definitely put it up. So this is my 12th day in a row working and for the last we had about 6 days that were they were 16 to 18-hour days, and I was like going on no sleep. But I was in the same room as Mike Myers, and I met Mel Gibson. And for those of you who are a Heated Rivalry fan, Hudson Williams was in the building with Sophie Nélisse and the character who plays Kip for Heated Rivalry fans. So yeah, I was a part of something amazing. We made history this year. I run the partnerships department, and everyone was very happy with what my team was able to produce, and I cannot wait till next year. And did I mention I met Mel Gibson? Apparently, the coalition is mad at Mel Gibson. I only recently found out that Mel Gibson said some really bad things. That I met Mel Gibson, and here we
In this day and age that we're in, everyone is mad at somebody for something. You
exactly.
there's no such thing as freedom of speech anymore. So,
Nothing. I
no,
just was like, I was like, I put in some group chats that I met Mel Gibson in one of my group chats. They were like, oh, black people are talking. I was like, what did Mel Gibson do? Like, my mom loves some Mel Gibson, loves some Lethal Weapon. Like, what did Mel do?
my thing is this. See, the problem is that's the problem with a lot of people. They so worry about like what everyone else is doing. Meanwhile, the gas price is $4 a gallon. Like,
That
we-
part.
right?
Like,
Like
what did Mel
whatever he got
do?
going on, I have no clue what is going on. And if black people's mad at him, I don't know nothing about it. We
All
get
I can know that.
we got 14-year-old kids getting shot in the back. That's more important than Mel Gibson. I'm sorry.
Facts. Facts. And listen, I spoke to Mel Gibson. I told him, I asked him what he was going to eat for dinner since he showed up to our charity dinner unexpectedly and we had to accommodate Mel Gibson, but we did. And he said, Toshiba, this is what I'll have. And so I met Mel Gibson, and that made my mother happy. So, you know what? If you're pissed off at him, that ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm just going to repeat. I
Facts.
met Mel Gibson. And
Oh,
I was in the same room as Shrek and Donkey and made my daughter so happy because my daughter is my date for the broadcast show. So for New Year, I work for the equivalent of the American Academy, and we have a broadcast show. And we brought in some really big numbers. We brought in 2.7 million viewers, which is historic for us. And again, my department was a huge part of that. So if you ever watch any award show and it says sponsored by or presented by, and any of those words are used, there are people like me behind the scenes who have to make sure that that runs. So I'm really proud. I'm really proud of myself. I'm proud of my team. I'm proud of my organization because we did big things. But enough about that. I will put together the compilation video and put that out there. But I cannot wait to hear what partners really have to say. But I was going from like Wednesday to Monday on like no sleep. I had a shower in our change room, so that's the one thing I would say. They treat us right. We are in the building that the show is broadcast from, and in my team's office there is a shower. So I came in, cleaned the shower, brought my shower shoes. They feed us, so I was taking showers in between, and I did have 10 different outfits that I had to put on, plus the outfits I had to wear there because I slept at home, but I took a shower there. So I had 10 different outfits to change in, plus the outfits I wore there. So there's a lot of stuff happening. Anyhow, I'm very proud of me because I some days I'm just a little immigrant girl whose mother took a chance and left the only country that she'd ever known to, in her mind, give her daughter a better life, so in turn her grandchildren would have a better life. And so to be a part of something so amazing, I am truly blessed, and I don't take my life for granted. So that's it. But we're gonna get into the show. We're gonna get into the show. Honestly, marriage is such a big thing for me, and I know it is for you. And despite us both being divorced, I know that we both have a desire to get married again. And I think we've talked on the show and we've talked offline about our desire that the next marriage will be forever. I don't think either one of us got into a marriage to get a divorce. And when you go through a divorce, um, I think you start thinking about where you may have struggled, some of the things that you may have ignored, and some of the conversations that you need to have going into a new relationship. And before I play that clip, like what do you think for you twins? As you are on the dating market again and potentially going to get married again, what would you say some of the top questions you would want answered before even considering a woman as a potential?
So, like some questions I'll ask her.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, I would definitely ask, how do you handle conflict? That's probably number one question. And it could be many things when it comes to conflict, but when someone's mad or upset, you see their true self. You
Uh,
see who they really are. And some people, when they
gotcha.
get mad, there are some not very nice people, very nasty
Hmm.
people. So I definitely want to know, how do you handle conflict, right? Um, let's see. How do you constructive feedback? How do you feel about that, right? So if I bring something to you, right, about whatever it may be, are you going to right away deflect and say, well, you do it too, or will you not
Hmm.
do this? Because at the end of the day, that's not never getting nothing done. If every time I bring something to you that whatever it may be, and you have a rebuttal for everything and say, well, because this or this, and I do this, it's not going to work out. It's just not going to work out. Um, and I mean, it's a lot of questions, but those like really like those were like those two right there will let me know if we're gonna move forward at all. And because at the end of the day, it all ties back to respect. Because
Okay.
respect is a no go for me. So if you can respect me, then we might as not even go down this road, right? And I understand that in relationships we will have arguments. So I'm not saying that I can't be wrong or something, or we have a conversation. But as long as we have an understanding that the goal is to be a unit later on, but there's still down the road, we'll have to go two separate roads to come to one road, right? If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Two different people,
Hmm.
two different brains. I'm 40 plus, she's 40 plus. We had our whole lives to be who we are. So to come to one road and fit everything on one lane at one time so fast, it's gonna take some time. But respect is gonna be number one for me. If I don't have respect in any type of relationship, I'm not moving forward on it. I did 14 years. Not saying my 14 years was bad or XYZ, but I let a lot of things slide when it comes to respect. So going forward now, if you can't respect me, we're not gonna do this. I don't have to do it now. I'm done. What about you?
I love that. I think for me, the number one question I would want to know from my future husband, a dear future husband, what does better or worse look like for you? Because they're in our vows, but do we truly sit down with our partner and say, what does that look like? Because as much as we would love to think that that type of love is unconditional, love comes with conditions in a lot of relationships. Often, and this is going to sound horrible for a lot of people, often the only unconditional love you get is from a parent to a child. It is conditions and conditions and conditions. So in asking that question, I want to know what those conditions are. What let's talk through it. What does better or worse truly look like? Because we say words, we say for better, for worse, for sickness and in health, for richer, for poorer. These are words that are said, and they've been said for generations upon generations upon generations. And a lot of the times we repeat the words, but we never dive into what they mean. So I want to know because for me, better or worse includes sickness and in health, includes richer for poorer. So what does that mean? Because I think a lot, and I've seen this happen where people have said for richer, right? Like I've seen people actually stop
Yeah.
and actually say for richer, which I think I personally think is the most disrespectful thing ever. I've seen people say for better or better, like it is like we're gonna go through seasons, and if you're going to abandon me in a bad season, tell me. Like I want to know this shit up front. And we never know what that bad season is, right? Like we're both sports fans here. And so we've seen our teams, our favorite teams, and some of our favorite players go through bad seasons, right? Like they or even just like because the playoff season is an entirely different season than regular season, and we've seen some of our favorite players, our favorite teams, kill it in regular seasons. For me, for instance, basketball is my favorite sport. There are 82 games in a season, 41 home, 41 away, right? And your favorite player on that team could have a hell of a season, and come April when it's playoff time and they're playing a team potentially 7 games and another 7, you can see like Brandon Ingram sucked during the playoffs for the sucked. Okay, Jalen Brown had some off nights. I'm a Celtic and a Raptors fan. Jason Tatum was on it. Jalen Brown had some off nights during the playoffs. Do I abandon the team and abandon the player because they're going through a season? Let's say, F that team. I'm never going to watch a Raptors or a Celtic game again. Get rid of Jalen Brown and Brandon Ingram because they're awful. Don't like you don't do that. You might be angry. You're like, yeah, catch them next season. Guess what? Marriages go through seasons. And I'm saying all of this because I'm setting up the clip I'm about to play. And I have to say, I was telling twins before we got on the show that I have watched a lot of clips from this show, Tonight's Conversation. I have been to a live Tonight Conversation taping here in Toronto. And I have to say, of all the people I've seen on the mic, and I've seen some horrible people step to that mic, this woman we are about to show you has to be one of the worst because the question she asks is So
Wait. Don't spoil it. Just play the clip first.
I'm just gonna play it. I'm gonna play it. So I didn't even entitle it anything. Just watch the clip. Here we go.
What do you do when you have fell out of love with your husband for not providing and have fallen back in love with your ex, who is currently having a baby, but is willing to risk it all?
I'm gonna be quick. Cause you had the wrong podcast.
I would absolutely hate to be your husband. That's just wild work to me. Like, you're willing to leave your husband for another that got a baby on the way. That's crazy work.
No, let me correct that. That is not why I'm leaving my husband. What I left him for was because he was not able to provide for me. This was something that has been going on for a year and a half.
Was he ever able to provide?
A year and a half? That's a season.
So, yes.
Year and a half. That's a season. You ain't even giving him a chance to overcome whatever he was going through. You supposed to help him through that. You know what I'm saying?
So how long? Okay, I understand that.
Till death do you part. Till death do you part. Till death do you part.
I think you would be doing him a huge service by leaving him. Because you're horrible to have even married him.
Let me just add this point. If you love someone based on conditions, when they do not meet those conditions, you are going to try to find a way out.
My biggest concern is not necessarily her, but it's that ripple effect that being in a relationship can make happen. Because if she decides to go back to the ex, she's affecting her husband, she's affecting her ex, she's affecting her ex's baby mom who was pregnant with this guy's kid, and she's affecting that child. So your poor decision making is going to affect 5 other lives.
That math right there. Go on, twins. Talk about it.
Till death do you part. Till death do you part.
Unless he's broke.
Ah, man. So there's a lot to unpack in this video. So she pretty much cheated on her husband because she been messing with her ex that has a baby on the way. You know what I'm saying? So she cheated on her husband because he's not able to provide. Wrong P. So many P's we got to have. You know, and granted, the clip was snipped, so we didn't get everything. But you know, I think she said for the last year has not been able to.
A year and a half. A year and a half. And she doesn't say how long they've been married, but it's clearly she said she married him. That's the key. She said, I married him because he could provide. And for the last year and a half, he's not providing. So then he's no good to her. So for better or worse, unless he's broke.
That's crazy.
Is what she's saying. Insane.
And anything happens, especially in the economy that we're in right now. People losing their jobs. I mean, FedEx, UPS. I mean, these big companies are just laying people off. I'm not saying it's part of the situation, but what I'm saying that in this season that we're in right now in 2026, getting jobs, people losing jobs is a thing right now. Gas price is $5 a gallon. It's a lot going on right now. So he could be in a situation where he's trying to get back on his feet again. And you know what she's doing? She's kicking him while he's down. That's exactly what she's doing. Regardless, think about this. Let's say he didn't know this was going on or whatever. He knows now. Hopefully, this conversation was had prior to going to the show. Because on top of him not being able to provide, because you know she's probably talking blah, 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 you're not a man, da, 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 da. Imagine his ego now to hear that his wife is now talking to another man, her ex, that's currently has a baby on the way, and they're both willing to risk them hooking up together. So he's the guy who has a baby. He's already risking that situation. He don't want her, and then she's married with his guy, and she risking that because they think together. Here's the problem I have with that situation. If your ex was all that in a bag of chips, why you leaving him? Why did y'all break up? Why did he go over here and start family or a situation over here? And why you go over here and start a situation over here, knowing that you want to be with your ex? Like, you're both two dummies. But the point I'm trying to make is, I hope these conversations were had on the woman's side and the husband's side, because this is on social media right now, and guess what? It's not going anywhere. So if he didn't see it, his friend sent it. If she didn't see it, her girlfriend saw it. Somebody sent it, and they sent them the message
Somebody
to
saw it.
videos. Like no one ever thought about that process. Like you went there and had this conversation in front of the internet. What did you say? On Beyonce's internet?
Yeah, Beyonce and Blue Ivy's internet, just up there, filling her business and embarrassing her husband, the man you're supposed to protect. Let me say two things here. Let me say, and I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna look straight in the camera again. I've gotten my second win. Look straight in the camera again. Women need to understand the difference again between attention and intention. That ex does not want her, okay? And if he did, it speaks to both of their characters, because she is okay with breaking up a family. There is a baby on the way. Like the man in the clip said, okay? She's okay with ruining 5 lives. Hers, her husband, the ex's girlfriend, and the child on the way, because her husband can't provide in the moment. She's willing to do that. So she has no loyalty to her husband. She has no loyalty to another woman, because I thought in America, Black women in America, you're all about loyalty to each other, okay? Because I'm a non-foundational Black American. I don't count in that scenario. So y'all supposed to be loyal. Please be loyal to each other, right? Loyal to each other. But you're willing to break up that woman's home because that man is probably selling you a bunch of garbage, because he can't have sex with his pregnant girlfriend probably the way he'd like, because she's pregnant. So you're out there giving up your patty woo-ha. That man does not want you. And he does not want you, because let me tell you something. You're telling him what type of woman you are. Why would that man be with you when you've told him what? You will leave a man in an instant, a man who married you, who changed your last name. You're willing to do that because he's having a season. Let me tell you something. This is where I tell my business. When I met my ex-fiance, even though I am not engaged him anymore, that man was a good man, Savannah. When I met my ex-fiance, he had no job. This was in the midst of COVID, okay? It's 2020. Let me take you back. October 2020. I'm in Canada. He's in Rochester, New York at the time. He has no job. Now, this was a man who had 2 degrees, who had played basketball overseas, who had been with the same company for over a decade, but COVID happened and a lot of things happened during COVID. And so when I got to know that man, he told me about what he'd done in the past. I heard about his degrees. I learned about his background. And I said, okay, you're in a season. You're in a season of life. I met him in October of 2020. Let me repeat that. By October 2020, I left to be with him in February of 2021, February 3rd to be exact, of 2021. I went to be with him where he was. We were now in Phoenix, Arizona, Tempe, Arizona. And by March of 2021, that man had a job. You know why? Because I took it upon myself to create an email for him, to redo his resume, and to get on every recruiting site I knew, because I knew what this man was capable of. And I had only been with him for a few months, but I knew from the background he had, both from playing professional basketball, from being in the financial industry for over a decade, with the degrees he had, with everything. And I created, and that man didn't have to do a damn thing. I did everything for him. The only thing he did was show up to the interviews. I prepped him. I did everything, because I also understand when a man can no longer be a provider, how like shit he feels. And I was never going to make that man feel like shit, because he was going through a season. And by the end of it, between March and getting into May of 2022, I not only had gotten him one job, I got him another job after that, and we were back in 6 figures in no time. Like that. He was making more money than he ever had. And I was behind him, and I believed him. And let me tell you, ladies, I didn't pay a damn bill. I bought some groceries. That was my entire contribution to the house. I bought groceries every other week. And it's just because, I don't know, I guess I felt like I had to be doing something. I didn't pay a bill. I didn't pay for the Mercedes Benz he ended up buying us. I didn't pay for nothing. Why? Because I believed in that man. And that man wasn't even my husband. He was my boyfriend to my fiance. So the fact of the matter is, for me, that man married you. He said, of all the women in the world, I am going to choose you. And when he's down, not only are you an unfaithful bitch, you want to kick him when he's down. Seriously, I'm pissed off. You want to kick him when he's down, and you want to go on a national platform and embarrass that man.
For sure. You definitely embarrass, regardless of the attention behind it. You definitely embarrass the family, not just him, the family, his brand, whatever. Like
his mama, his father, his brothers, his whoever is watching that loves that man. You went out there and you basically said in many words, he's not shit anymore because he can't provide for me. And what kind of person are you? Like, I'm sorry, that is awful. Don't be like that, ladies. Do not listen. You have decided that you want to leave your husband. You do not need to go on a national platform and do that. You don't have, and the problem is, for me, she asked it like she was going to get some positive response. Like they were going to sit there and give her a play-by-play and tell her, it's okay, girl. It's okay, girl. Yeah, you're allowed to leave your husband when he's down.
Mm.
Go break up another family. Go have a pregnant woman potentially lose her baby because of heartbreak she's feeling because she now found out that her child's father is out here probably raw dogging another woman, putting her life in danger. Do you understand the whole disgusting scenario that this one selfish woman created?
Yes, very nasty. And nasty work.
Nasty work is one of my favorite things to say. Is and it I guess it for me, I was so troubled by that clip because I have to ask some women, what is your self-respect worth? What price do you put on self-respect? Because that is a lack of self-respect to me. Forget the fact that she doesn't respect her husband. She made that very clear. Very clear. She doesn't respect her husband. But she also doesn't respect herself. So what price do you put on self-respect? I'm just looking at the ladies right now who will be watching this because I really want women to think about that. And the fact of the matter is, twins, if you were a man watching that, because that woman's face is probably burned in a lot of men's heads, and she's single on the market, is that a woman you're going to date and take seriously? I know you put her on the team. I know that's going to be part of your.
No.
Oh, you want to make it to the team?
Right. She would not make the team because the people that, the ladies that make the team still have a possibility. They may have an opportunity. She wouldn't because she already proven she ain't shit. I would not. I don't even want that energy around me. The fact, because as a man, it just sucks seeing that. Like, damn, let's say they're married for 10 years, right? So let's say this for conversation. Let's say they was married for 10 years. So for 10 years, I provided everything for you. I did everything, life was good for you. And then I lose my job, I get laid off, whatever may case be. And I've been trying over a year and a half to get the job, whatever. And now when I'm out, now I'm trying to get back on my feet. I'm grinding. I know it's a burden on you, whatever it may be. You gonna kick me, stomp me, spit in my face. Forget all that. Spit in my face. Because, most people, when they have conversation, they talk about their exes. So clearly, each dude have heard about this dude before, whatever case may be. It may have been, oh, he ain't this, he ain't that, right? you know the stories, you know, you want to tell us, and the next thing is you see she's running back to him. So clearly he wanted that bad. But the point I'm trying to make is that, damn, fellas, it's tough out here in the streets, fellas. Even for the dudes who are working, because you're not safe neither, because things can happen. You can lose a job and X, Y, Z, and trust me, the market is not good right now. So you better have a side hustle. Like I tell every man, you should always have a side hustle. Always. You have your main job, but make sure you have a side hustle. And just make it a side hustle, like something you do on the side, whatever. Nothing that doesn't interrupt your daily life and your family, X, Y, Z. Because if anything were to happen, you lose your main job, whatever case may be, because anything can happen, especially if you're a black man in America, they'll find reasons. But the point I'm trying to make is, as long as you have something to fall back on, because then that could be your full time until you find another main job to have. But damn, my wife is gonna leave me because I couldn't provide for the last year and a half. And then at least if you're gonna leave me, at least leave me for a new guy you just met. You know what I'm saying? Not somebody you've been with before, because that means that window or that season was always, that season wasn't closed.
That door never closed. Yeah, that door was always open.
It was always open, because that means that lets you know that so damn, you've been talking not just a year and a half now, you've been talking for a while now to be in touch. If we've been married, you still keep in contact with your exes like this? And now, of course, time's hard. Now she wouldn't confide in me, and as a guy, I'm gonna say, "Oh, baby, you know I could do that. I make this amount of money now. I can do this. I can take care of you and your kids, man. You forget that dude. He don't know what he's doing over there." And okay, all gullible and shit until she get over there, and the shit ain't as great as what. Anyway, I'm sorry. I just feel bad for the dude. Now let's play devil's advocate. Now, if the guy ain't doing nothing, he's sitting all day, scratching his balls, playing video games. Okay. All right, then see, that's a different story then, because he ain't doing shit, right? That's a little different. Still doesn't matter because you're still married, but I can understand now that you might want to step out now because a year and a half gone by, he ain't doing nothing, he ain't trying to do nothing. That's a different story. So we didn't get the full story. I'm gonna have to go back and watch this video because now I'm more curious about it. So yeah, I'm gonna swing it back to you. But this scenario,
listen, you know, I'm a numbers person. So I'm gonna go to that, and then I'm gonna give, because there might be women who are gonna watch this show are gonna be like, I'm gonna give women the woman equivalent of that clip. So I'm gonna go back to what you just said, because I'm a numbers person. Okay, so let's be a numbers person for a second. Let's just give them the 10 years. Let's give them the 10 years. Let's say that the totality of their relationship has been 10 years. And this woman has said that for the last year and a half, which is 18 months, okay, he has not been providing. So let's say 8.5 years he's provided, and a year and a half he hasn't provided.
Okay.
So for 15% out of 100% of the relationship, for 15% of it, he's been a non-provider, but for 85% of it, he's been a provider. Which is the bigger number?
The 85%?
Correct. So, okay, for 85%, he's been a provider.
Yes.
For 15%, he has not. Okay. Which means it is a small comparison to the 85%. Now let's look at the 50%. We could be dealing with depression. We could be dealing with anxiety. We could be dealing with loss of self-esteem. We could be dealing with feeling like he's not good enough. We could be dealing with the fact that he might simply need a skill upgrade. We could be dealing with a number of factors within that 15%, which even makes that 15% exist. And even though as a partner you can't fix some of it, I just gave you an example where you can. I did it because when my ex was in that situation, I know he was dealing with depression. I know he was dealing with feelings of not being good enough. He never had to tell me. He had always been a provider. The man played professional basketball for many, many years. He knew how to provide. And he was in a temporary moment in time. Okay? And so as a spouse, I think it is your job. This is where you step in People say that relationships are supposed to be 100, right? Because I don't do 50-50, I do 100. And you know what that truly means? It's not about money. It means that maybe sometimes you have to pick up more of the slack. So the man for 85% of the relationship has been picking up the slack. Well, she needed to be that 85% now because he was at 15. So she needed to be that 85% so they could be a full 100%. And so that's my math part. I'm going to go to the ladies. Because ladies, let me give you the equivalent of what that woman is going through with that man. Men like sex. We know that. But sometimes we are going through phases in our life, whether that's after having a baby, whether that's being pregnant with the baby, whether that's us going through perimenopause and menopause, that we are not in the mood to have sex. So we have been with our man for 10 years. I'll give you the same 10 years. But for the last year, and I'll give that 10% of the relationship, we have just not been that sexual prowess that we have been in the relationship. Are we okay with our man just calling up an ex or a new thing, or going on Beyonce and Blue Ivy's internet and sliding into some DM because he's not getting the patty hoo-ha the way he used to? Because we are going through a season. This will not be the rest of it. Marriage is a marathon, not a sprint. It is meant for the long haul, says the divorced woman. I said, my marriage is supposed to be a marathon. It is never supposed to be a sprint. And so the idea that people are blessed, I think it is a blessing to find a life partner. I do not take it for granted. Twins, you know it, you're married for 14 years, right? It is a blessing when you find someone that you are compatible with, that can become your best friend. And for you to give that ultimate betrayal, that you not only are cheating with an ex who has a pregnant, which is, again, a whole other thing over there, but you broadcast that shit about your husband. Because ladies, as much as a man is supposed to protect and provide for us, we are also supposed to protect them. Go. I know you were jumping in. Go on. I need a moment.
Yeah. So, I don't know where I was going with that, where I was at the time, but I will say, no, what I was saying was about fellas, make sure you have another job, X, Y, Z, make sure to avoid this. But the audacity to the fact that, see, that's a prime example. She doesn't have a sisterhood, and what a sisterhood is like a brotherhood. A brotherhood is when, you know, a group of guys, we talk about certain situations, and what we do, we give solutions. Hey man, try this, do that, X, Y, Z. And when I talk to a group of fellas about, most men would not really chatty patty, but when we do have a conversation, we all come to a resolution or a solution or something like that. We don't say, oh no, man, forget her, leave her, divorce her, you do better. No, me and my fellows, we don't do that. We never encourage each other to, you know, leave the situation. Now, if it's like physical abuse and stuff like that, that's a different story.
Different story. Yeah.
Until somebody say they get beat on. But the fact that she she do have new friends, her and her girlfriends ain't shit neither. If she do have girlfriends that say, girl, go ahead, yeah, go back to your ex, like misery love company. But if she had real women in her life, real women like aunties, grandmas, whatever, sisters, whatever, somebody had, it was really for them to be together, they would have talked her out of that. Like, girl, you're wrong for that. You need to support your husband. You need to forget that. You need to forget your ex, XYZ, not go on this show. And she probably went to the show with her girlfriend because I'm sure he wasn't there, because I was like, what? Anyway.
No, the husband definitely wasn't there.
Yeah, he wasn't there. The fact that she had it, like, I don't know if people just, like, also too, it may not be a true story, because a lot of people do a lot of things just to go viral.
You know what that actually sounds like? If it wasn't true, you know where that theme is from, right?
No.
Do you remember Issa Rae's show? Remember Lawrence and Issa? Remember how long Lawrence was unemployed for? It
Oh
was a
yeah,
year and a
yeah,
half.
that
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
So
No,
that's exactly what it made me think of if it was fake, but I just don't believe it's fake because the way she had that smirk on her face, like that shit was and the way I skipped out the part where she was truly defending it. Like she was like, that's not why I'm leaving my husband. Like she was really like as if
I
she
believe
was
it.
God in it.
I believe it too.
I
Because
believe it. That girl is
like
solid.
when she said how long, and the guy was like, till death do you part, till death do you part. And she's like, damn, he got a point. Yeah, that's in your fucking vows. That's in your
It
vows.
literally is in the vows. For better or for worse, so death do you
So,
part for richer or
so,
for poor.
so where does it in the vows show it says where, you know what, if my husband or wife doesn't do XYZ for a certain time frame, I could divorce her
I
or
leave them.
cheat. No. She ain't leaving yet. I mean, she's definitely cheating. Like she's already fucking another
Oh,
guy.
definitely, definitely
So
doing
where does
that.
it say in the vows that if he doesn't provide or she don't provide at X amount of time frame, I can start sleep with other people. Especially my ex. Where is it at?
It doesn't say
Okay, if she
anything.
felt that way, then I'd rather her just leave him first and then
Leave. I 1,000%. I wouldn't be mad at her for that. I wouldn't be mad at her for that.
that's a problem. She's not woman enough to do that because
She doesn't have a conscience.
because the husband does provide some type of security. We don't know what it is, but he provides something where she's still there. Because if it was so good over here, she'd left instantly. And I don't know if she got
It's not good over there because the ex doesn't want her. He wants to F her. He does not want her. That's the problem. A lot of women want a monkey branch, right? They want a safety net. And this is monkey branching. Before I continue with that, Mr. Flowers on Instagram saying she's his wife. She should be able to restart his motivation. That's her job. Being a wife is a job, being a husband is a job. We've talked about it over and over. And I feel like like we repeat ourselves until we're blue in the face with this. Being a spouse is a job. And the reality is I'm talking about a spouse. I'm not just talking about boyfriend and girlfriend. And the reason I'm not saying boyfriend and girlfriend is when you're a boyfriend and girlfriend, you don't sign a contract. When you are in a marriage, when you're husband and wife, you literally sign a marriage certificate. It is a contract. And both twins and I know how easy it is to get in that contract and how hard it is to get out of that contract.
it's real deal, boy.
Okay, that is when you sign that contract. It took me over a decade, okay, to get out of my contract to just be free and ready to be able to be married again. It is not no joke. When I wanted to leave my ex-fiance, I just got up and left. There was nothing but my husband. It took me over a decade for some judge. A judge had to decide that both twins and I could be free and single to be really dating on these streets. It is a contract. So it is a job. Just like we sign a job contract. When we go into new jobs, they hand us a contract with terms and agreements. And if we break some of these terms and agreements, we are out of a job. It is a job you sign up for, and you don't get to decide that I'm not going to do my duty. I don't get to decide that I'm not going to do my job. I'm just going to take a week off from work. I'm not going to tell anybody. And then I'm going to just show up the following week and be back at it. What? My CEO would be like, I'm sorry. Where have you been all week? We've been calling, texting, emailing, everything. You haven't picked up. You no longer have a job. Each person has a responsibility in a marriage. There is a job, there are responsibilities. And like you said, I wouldn't have even been mad at her if she just left. If she said to that man, this isn't working out for me. This is not the marriage I signed up for, and I'd like to get a divorce. But when you are a selfish narcissist, okay, you don't mind ruining your life, but the life of others. And for me, it's the life of the others. It is this poor pregnant woman and this poor husband who are with these two selfish people because the ex that she's cheating with is also a piece of crap. Okay, he's a piece of crap, she's a piece of crap. They're being pieces of crap together, and they're impacting this pregnant woman and this baby and this man over here. And say what you want about the man and his employment status. Like Twins has said, it is hard in these streets. If you have a job right now, stick with it. Because trying to find another one and going through the process and everything that you need to do, it is not easy out there. At all.
Shoot, you know what they say, it's easier to get another job while you currently have a
When
job.
you have one. Correct. Correct.
Versus no job, and that's a different ballpark, different game.
So that's what she's trying to do, though. It's the corporate version of monkey branching, right? I'm gonna hold on to this branch over here when I try to get this branch over here, and once I get this new job, which is my new branch, I'm gonna move over and have both hands over here. That is what women do, and some men do in relationships. They monkey branch before they've ended another relationship. They want to jump into another one. And the problem, ladies and gentlemen, it does not bode well with your new partner. If I meet you, sir, and you're telling me that you are still somehow tied to your ex, like living in the same house with them, continuing to sleep with them, all of the different millions of things that can be said, but you want to pursue me so wholeheartedly because I could be the woman of your dreams. Well, then get rid of the nightmare. Because that's what you're telling me. If I'm the woman of your dreams, it means you're living a nightmare over there. And why do you want to continue to live in a nightmare? It doesn't bode well for me if I'm getting with you. Because guess what? If I ever become your nightmare, you're gonna find another dream woman. That doesn't speak well of your character. You know what I'm saying? Like, before you start something, end it. End it entirely. Goodbye. Like, see you later.
I wonder if the ex-boyfriend saw the clip, right? Because it's like, damn, so I could be next too.
If they will do it with you, you know the saying, though. You know the saying, Twins. If they will do it with you. Okay. Finish the rest, people. It's not that hard. If someone will do some shit with you. Okay.
Yeah, there's no loyalty there. And
he's so very loyal.
Chris Busy, per Chris Brown. Other great Chris Brown.
This whole loyal. That is a whole move. Seriously, that is a whole move. Hoes go to the highest bidders.
And it's crazy too because the conversation always being had that why are men out here making creating these broken homes. Meanwhile, you got a woman who's married about to break. Well, she already broken the foundation of that home. Then she about to go over here where a baby is on the way, about to break up that home. You sure? I think, of course, it goes both. Everyone's doing it, but you don't see men going to stores like, hey, I'm married and my wife, she ain't doing this, so I want to talk to my ex and she has a baby on the way and we're gonna work out together. What? That shit doesn't even sound right.
It does not sound. I
still thought she was going to get a positive response.
She thought she ate. She thought she ate with that, and she wanted to defend it. And sorry to cut you, but how do you defend that? How can you possibly defend when a panel of men and women collectively come together to tell you're a horrible person? Because that show can be very divisive, and they were not divided in that moment.
No, they was all in agreement. The men were adamant because as a man, I can understand that. Like I said, till death do you part. So And like you said earlier, what are you doing to help him to get back on his feet? Are you redoing his resume? Are you applying for jobs for him? Are you searching for jobs? What are you doing? See, it's great when everything's lovely, but then when you got to put a little effort in, that's when it becomes a problem. It's tough out here for us, man. It's tough. When you think you got you a lady and you think you're done, you're never done, sir. You always gotta be working. You always gotta keep the grind. Gotta stay on your toes. Because
And there's,
the X is still there. Go ahead.
sorry to cut you, and it's funny because I could sit here and talk till I'm blue in the face because I've said this to you before, and I will not repeat it again, because you gave me a good response to when I said it before, and it was essentially when I was like, well, you guys pick us, but your response when I said this a couple of years ago was like, but when we pick you, we're not picking that version of you. Because the reality is that woman probably showed up as a completely different version than we saw on that night. Because I cannot believe, and I consider myself a very intelligent woman, I cannot believe that a man would knowingly marry that version of that woman.
Right.
A woman who said to him, at any point, if you go through struggles, I am going to abandon you as fast as Cleveland fans abandoned LeBron when he took his talents to South Beach.
You don't leave LeBron.
I told you
You don't leave the King
no,
James.
no, listen, I ain't mad at LeBron. I'm mad at the fans who started burning his jerseys. That man went and said, I'm taking my talents to South Beach. And within an hour, thousands of fans were outside burning his jersey. So she is the equivalent of the Cleveland fans who wanted to burn poor LeBron's jerseys. That's how quick she was. She ran out and said, I'm good. Come on, girl. Don't be those fans. I digress. Okay? What? No way. There's no way he married that version of her. He thought he was getting this loyal wife, this respectful wife, he thought he was getting that. But gentlemen, you have to think about it, and ladies, you have to think about it. If you're only as good as X, fill in the blank, for that person, that means that person doesn't truly love you. So women, if you're only as good as your body, your whatever that man praises you about, man, if you're only as good as your wallet or your ability to provide, that person does not love you. They love what you can do for them. And I'm actually going to go into an early relationship advice. People, when someone says they love you, ask them why. So when someone says, I love you, why do you love me? Stop and listen to their answer. Listen to understand and not to respond. And that will tell you a lot, because if they say they love you based on what you do for them, based on how you make them feel, if your love for them is all about them and not, I love you because you're exactly the type of man I envisioned in my life, and that man is strong, he's intelligent. When he walks into a room, he commands that room and people pay attention. You're God-fearing. You are loyal. You're the type of man that my father would want me to be with. You're the type of man I would want my daughter to date. You are that man. You are the type of man who can lead a nation by your words and through your actions. And that is the type of man I would follow to the ends of the earth. And that is why I love you. That is very different than me saying, I love you because you make me feel good. I love you because you make me smile. I love you because when I'm down, you're always there for me.
Not the feelings.
Do you see the difference?
Yeah, it's all based off feelings. It's based off what you're doing.
You felt that first one though.
I sure
You
did.
felt that.
Mhm.
Thank you. Because that's how I want to love my man. I want to be able to know that that is the type of man that wherever he leads me, I will follow and I will go to the ends of the earth if that's what he says. I love you for those reasons, not because of how you make me feel. And we're getting into these relationships and we're hearing these words and they sound beautiful. And we're like, yes, he or she loves me, but you never ask why. Fuck your feelings. That is, I named this show Fuck Your Feelings for a reason. Because we all get caught up in our feelings. And at 46 years old, I don't give a fuck about your feelings. I have to be respectful, not in that way. If you cannot tell me how you love me in a way that speaks to the type of woman, if I am not the type of woman you envision your life to be with, then please remove yourself from my life. And I would do the same. If I can't be the type of woman you see as a woman that is the vision of the woman who can sit at the table that you have built with your hard work and will continue to build with, what are we talking about? These tits, this ass, this face, this mouth ain't got nothing to do with the ability to be able to build a strong foundation. So the next time somebody says, I love you, ask them why and listen. That is my relationship advice.
I'm supposed to follow that. I'm supposed to follow that.
I'm on one tonight, boy.
She got her second win, ladies and gentlemen. That's why she is.
I did.
My main tip would be what I said earlier today, as far as men. Never stop. Just because you got a ring and XYZ, you're married, doesn't mean you can fall off. You have to stay on your P's and Q's at all time. It sucks. Trust me, I understand. But, I understand the woman's right, but as a man, we got to be providers. So we always got to make sure we stay on the A game. Now, stuff does happen. I'm not saying the guy's wrong because he lost his job or whatever may happen to him. Not wrong for that, but you got to stay on your P's and Q's because even with rings, clearly it's still not enough. Our women could be taken from us, or they can go somewhere else, even with the rings, the commitment. So we always got to stay ready. That's it. Don't chase the woman, chase the money. Clearly, as you're married, even if you're married, don't chase the woman, just chase the money. Because as long as you got the money, you get the woman. Sucks, but that's the society that we're in. And we're now moving to the society of survival mode now, where some people they're with people because they need to survive. Trust me, like all jokes aside, everything's going up, but pay raise is not going up.
That part, don't I know it? Preach.
So just know, stay on your P's and Q's, have a hustle, side hustle. Regardless, I don't care how much money you make or whatever. Good. Then make sure you're saving. If you have the money, then save. You should have a savings account for 6 months in emergency. So, but at the end of the day, it still will have no effect. If she decides to leave, there's nothing you can do about it. There's no in this day and age we're in right now. There's nothing a man can do to hold a woman accountable. We can talk you to our ears fall off, but it's something that they have to do themselves. Always remember that. I'm done.
You said something, and I've got to add an extra something. And I'm going to add something extra. Ladies, when you're with a man who's about his business, he's going to be about his business. And sometimes that business is not going to be you. So don't get with a successful man and then complain about what it takes for him to be successful.
That's
because if he's chasing that money, boy, sometimes that means he is not at home at 9 o'clock or 5 o'clock or 7 o'clock. He's on the grind. If he's the CEO, the CFO, the CTO, the owner, the founder, the whatever, that means sometimes he is doing 16-hour days. But you want a certain life but you don't want that man to be busy. You can't have it both. You can't want the successful man, but he should not be busy. Because even the street pharmaceutical engineer, if he's successful in what he does, he's gonna be busy.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Busy, because you're busy working. You've got to put it together. So again, if you want the successful man, understand that there are some sacrifices you have to make. And if you want the man who's going to lay up underneath you to be able to watch Love Island, USA, okay, or whatever other shows you want to watch, Beauty and the Black, and all of them shows, because he's got time, okay, then maybe your lifestyle isn't necessarily going to be what you want it to be. And that's okay. But don't be mad at a man who's chasing the money and not chasing after you. Maybe you should find a hobby. And then you won't have to worry.
That part.
And then you're fine. That's the end. Write some books. I've written 13 of them. If you do not know, you need to check me out on Amazon. That was a great transition. Check me out on Amazon under Toshiba Billings. You will find the Sienna series. You will find No Handouts for Black Girl and my newest Love Rules. There are 4 out of the 6 books that will be published on that series. Check them out. And before I end, I want to say, again, I created this show to change the conversation around Black relationships. And some of the things we talk about on the show may make you uncomfortable, but they're going to move things forward. Our goal, and my goal, has always been to see more married couples, more married Black couples, more people building futures for our children and future grandchildren, because we cannot do this alone. The strong, independent woman is going to end up strong, independent, and alone. And that is not the way of the world. I digress. Twins, any final words?
No, nothing. You dropped a lot of good nuggets tonight.
Thank you so much. I got my second win. So subscribe, like, share, and we will see you next week. Good night, everybody.